Welcome to the third episode of Waxing Philosophic. Today we have PJ Milionis on the podcast. I had not met PJ previous to this interview, and I had no idea how it would go, but I think we had a really good session, really good conversation, and I hope you all enjoy. He does say some things that I don't necessarily agree with. I, actively listen. I say, yeah, nod my head. Obviously, you can't see that part, but I don't necessarily have the vocabulary to counter him on anything, so I listen to his perspective. I gain a new perspective on things and try and hear him out as best I can. You'll hear that more later on in the episode. It is a bit of a slow start, so just listen all the way through and let me know what you think down in the comments. And without further ado, Wax Philosophic. Thank you. Yep, all right. Welcome to episode 3 of Waxing Philosophic. I am joined with PJ Milionis, a student at Clemson University. He is a senior political science major from Chicago, Illinois. PJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to have you. Third guest of the podcast. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good to be part of a new podcast. I did an NBA podcast with one of my homies back in freshman year, NBA podcast. It was called Noah and PJ in the Post.
Yeah.
Just lost time, lost track, didn't have time for it. It was kind of hard to do. You had to get studio time, all that. Editing took a long time. I didn't do any of the audio editing, not my forte.
Yeah. Not my forte either, but I'm learning the ropes.
But yeah, just chilling. I mean, podcasts are a cool medium, so I'm glad to be on.
Yeah, glad to have you. You listened to the first episode?
No, I have not. I was brought in here on all things on a whim.
Yeah.
Your homie Caprice was like, "Yo, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
That was about it.
Nice. Well, I'm super excited to have you on. I messaged you just yesterday, and you could do it on such short notice. So, thank you for coming on. So yeah, Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City.
Yeah, so I spent the first 13 years of my life on the north side of Chicago, Andersonville neighborhood.
Yeah.
Historically, that's where the Swedish immigrants were at in Chicago. There still is a water tower with the Swedish flag on it. By the time I was born, and it had turned into one of the two predominant spaces for the LGBT community in Chicago.
Gotcha.
And I spent the first 13 years of my life then. Then I moved out to a suburb right outside of Chicago called Oak Park, Illinois. It's where Ernest Hemingway is from.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably its biggest claim, but it borders the city of Chicago, and that's where I went to high school and stayed at until I came here to Clemson.
Yeah, what made you come to Clemson?
I wanted to be an engineer, specifically an automotive engineer.
Yeah.
And I applied to here, Purdue, Miami of Ohio were the top three.
Yeah.
Three reasons this place won out. It was the prettiest of the campuses.
Oh, yeah.
It was the furthest from home.
Yeah.
And it had, there's my fourth, but it had my backup plan of political science, which I do now.
Yeah.
And if I did, it had the automotive engineering grad school, because that was the one I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the CU iCar program was really, all that was real dope. So and then I'm like, man, I have my life planned out. And I did calculus, and I'm a political science major.
Gotcha. Yeah, calculus will beat it out of you. I'm a math tutor at
Oh, okay.
So, I deal with people who are going through calculus, and it's rough. It's definitely rough. It's a new form of math. It's like a higher level.
I found myself just not enjoying college. I found myself being way too homesick for something I wanted to do. I found myself kind of focusing on my, at least being the most interested and least mad at my one poli-sci gen ed class I was taking.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a sign that I need to switch.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I gotta be effortlessly in it, because I couldn't focus on it enough because of the hell that was calculus and chemistry I was putting me through. So
chemistry's, oh my goodness, I cannot imagine.
So I gotta be basically by showing up to class and through osmosis through the lecture. I didn't even really need the lecture, so I was enjoying it more. So
yeah,
that's why I ended up switching.
Yeah, I switched my major too. I switched from international trade and language, which is what they call it now, and I switched into management.
Oh, okay.
Because I could not do Japanese to save my life. I can't even say a sentence in Japanese now, and I took 2 classes of it, not last year. No, it was last year actually, sophomore year. Yeah, so I definitely understand those signs come to you in those classes. My economics class I really enjoyed, and
that's a first.
Yeah, I know I just love social sciences.
Oh, okay.
And my psychology class I really loved, so I kept that as my minor.
Who was your psych professor, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, the guy who does human sexual
you
behavior.
didn't have... Okay.
No.
That's all I need to hear.
Oh boy.
Everyone of my friends who's done the psych classes, who's had her, has wished they never stepped foot in that class.
Yeah. But I had the guy who did human sexual behavior.
Oh, okay. I've heard good things about that class.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Learning a bunch of stuff. And it carries with you, because, like, I don't know what it's like in Chicago, but in South Carolina, sex ed is so, like, minuscule. Like, I got nothing out of high school.
Yeah, you see, I actually took a health class. Like, I know it was pretty, comprehensive,
Yeah.
for, especially, it was 2014 when I ended up taking it, but it was pretty comprehensive, hit all the bases.
Yeah.
About, like the normal health class stuff. Well, I guess normal to me, because that was the second health class I took. I took one in middle school, too, right after I moved, because I moved in 8th grade. So I had 2 health classes, and, but yeah, I have heard that. I've heard the differences in the education that I've had compared to my friends here.
Oh, trust me, it's night and day, I bet. Because, like, we weren't even allowed to talk about what condoms are. We weren't allowed to talk about, like, contraceptive things or anything. It was all abstinence only, sex education, which got, like, 3 people that I know pregnant, and then my girlfriend who went to school closer to here, she knows, like, 10, 15 people who are pregnant.
Yeah, I think out of my class, while we were in high school, and I went to a big Oak Park Air Force High School. Had about 3,800 kids in it when I went. It's over 4,000 now. My graduating class was in the 790s.
Jeez, okay.
I think only one person got pregnant. In the whole class.
And that's probably a lot to do with it. Was probably the sex ed.
And then even like closely after, from at least I've only known one other girl who's gotten pregnant in the close time, and she wanted to be pregnant. So like good for but like so like I've only known I only know of 2 people. Yeah. And even if you did, my high school had a nursery for mainly for the teachers. Yeah. But the nursery could also be utilized by the students too. So you can drop your kid off and go to class at a daycare basically and you can visit your kid in like your lunch period or whatever. It was a pretty neat thing.
Yeah, we had nothing like that.
The placement of the nursery was suspect, however.
What was it?
Well, they placed it so it was near like kind of the trade section of the school. So you had like the woodcutting class, like the woodworking class. Yeah. You had like where some of the engineering classes were, where we like electronics, stuff like that. But the worst one was where they put like the babies, like 6 to 12 months. Yeah. They put their diaper changing room right next to the auto room. I took auto in high school.
Oh, gotcha.
And the auto room is by far the most dangerous room in that high school. Yeah. Basically, I have to tell a story how I almost killed a bunch of kids by accident.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
So we were doing we were doing a test, and emissions. It wasn't an emissions test. It was a test where the car had to run. I think it was a compression test. I forget the specifics, but it was with the our teacher's Jeep. And we're sitting inside a Jeep, me and my boy, and we're just like, yo, did we put the emission hose? Did we put the hose? You put a little hose on the exhaust, and it goes into the floor, and then you turn on the exhaust fan so it pumps out the carbon monoxide emissions from a car? Yeah. Like, yo, did we do that? And he looked at me, I'm like, oh, fuck. I just turned off his car, I run out the car, I see the hose ain't there, the fan, and I just quickly do all of it. He comes up, why'd the car turn off? I'm like, it just turned off, man. Yeah. I got away with it, but I felt terrible. I was like, damn, I really messed up. Yeah, you messed up big time. You was lucky it was only like 3 minutes and not 15.
Yeah, because I know someone who got carbon monoxide poisoning and it just ripped him apart.
Yeah, but that's the closest. Yeah, but I enjoyed auto. Other than that, I put my own mod in my car once. I had a terrible idea. It broke within a year, but I kept the original part, so it was all good. But it was just a fun time, good group of people. Yeah. I was also good at my high school. Was focused on sending kids to college, which is not like the but they also had some things for people who didn't want to do that, so that was neat. Yeah.
Can imagine. I was thinking that there was gonna be some kind of explosion or something.
Oh no, but it's still just kind of a weird placement because the auto room has the most there are running vehicles in there. There's heavy tools. The chance of fire is pretty high.
Yeah, I'd say so with all that gasoline and stuff.
Just not even that. Just most car fires are electrical.
Oh really?
So yeah, short wire car fires are quick, like 2-3 minutes the whole car is engulfed. But it can just be a fuse blows, wire shorts. Could be the windshield motor shorts out and catches on fire. You know, cars are not very fireproof.
Yeah, I had no idea.
But yeah, so like there's not really, but it's just the chance of fire, smoke is really the problem there in the placement. But I think the auto room was there before the nursery was there, and there's no more space because the building is old as hell. So
yeah, my high school was old too. Although they were always doing construction, adding on to it. Kind of like here at Clemson, always doing construction, always adding something on. Because like it grew so much, but. Yeah, I don't think we had a nursery. I don't think we had anything. We had nothing like for the students except for classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of that, I mean, there were like athletics and stuff, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. My high school was fine. I liked it, but nothing like that. Nothing like comprehensive car engineering stuff for like mechanics stuff.
We had so it was very like if you wanted to do certain things, like I had electives and stuff. I took a film class.
Yeah.
Like I took a not a like a film appreciation. It was like a film class. So I did some short movies.
Yeah.
Short. No, there's YouTube skits really. If we're being honest, they were YouTube skits.
Yeah.
I like to call them short movies. To sound pretentious. They're YouTube skits, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. I made some of those in my media arts class with some of my friends. Super fun. Like we made like a fake car commercial. That was cool. And we made a like an animated battle where instead of guns they would use instruments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they like launch sonic blast out of the instruments. It was really cool. I'm sure I still have it.
So I know our first one was a music video. That sucked.
Awesome.
Because it just sucked. I chose a short song on purpose.
Yeah.
And basically the premise was we went to Steak and Shake, and we had to get back before a friend got fired from his job. That was the premise of it.
Yeah.
I liked it, and every time I rewatch it, I realize I could have done better though, and it makes me mad. And then the second one was I had just watched Training Day, so I was inspired to make a Cops ripoff.
Yeah.
With a corrupt cop. That was great. It was funny.
Yeah.
And the third one is the only one that wasn't like a found footage one because I was late. It was a very lazy way to break many rules of filmmaking.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh yeah, it's found footage, bro. You can break. You don't gotta listen to basically any rules of filmmaking anymore.
Yeah.
Then there was the one that I actually decided to listen to the rules, and it's probably my best one in terms of the quality, of the shot. Like it's like my best shot one, and it's just basically. It's just a short movie. Dude goes to buy a car, gets held for ransom, breaks out, takes the car anyway. So.
Gotcha.
And then I took a TV style class where we made more TV style, like making ads, and I sucked at that.
Yeah.
I didn't upload any. I upload them to YouTube just so we can watch them in class, and I made them hidden. And I think I deleted a couple. I don't even want to ever watch them again.
Oh, gotcha. Sounds like you like media production a lot. Why isn't that your major?
It's more. I like to keep some stuff a hobby.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I can put myself through the grind of being like a PA in the film industry and working my way up that way.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor. I know that. I don't know, and I don't want to edit a movie.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for people who edit movies, who edit TV. TV showrunners, people who earn the truck of a sports broadcast.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for all those guys, but I don't got the willpower or the effort levels for the medium to do that. Like people who cut a movie, they gotta cut hundreds of hours of footage in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Or God forbid, an hour-long an episode TV show. You're cutting probably 1,000 hours of footage into 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's insanity. And then like you gotta start out being a PA, production assistant. You gotta go basically be the director's unpaid intern and the director's slave essentially.
Yeah.
And then you work your way up, and then you might get a good gig, you might not. It was too volatile for my liking.
Yeah.
There was no way I could convince my parents. I wouldn't want to go to film school or anything like that. I wouldn't want to just move and start working either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Always start a YouTube video though, or a YouTube channel. I mean.
I could, but I'd rather do all the things I'd want to do a YouTube channel. I never want to be a job. I never want to game for a job. I'd rather just keep it.
Keep it as a hobby.
Yeah. Because a lot of dudes I do this thing called airsoft, similar to paintball. It's just a fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's a child's game, but it is. It's just.
No, those things hurt. I used to airsoft all the time in my neighborhood. Those things hurt like crazy.
But yeah, like a lot of the airsoft YouTubers, like they quickly find out like you're playing now, like you need to get the good clips. You're not playing for fun anymore, and it's like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you can't have like a bad like day person, like a day that you usually laugh off. Like, oh, it was fun, I did bad, who cares? Now you're like legitimately angry because you didn't get the footage you need for your livelihood.
Yeah.
Because it's also a huge initial investment for not. I could have bought a capture card 20 times now, and I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just because. But like getting especially like getting all the GoPros, all the cams, and then buying the editing software. At least we're lucky here. That's free for now.
Yeah.
Or not free. We paid for it already.
Paid for it, yeah.
So it's a huge initial investment as well. Because then also, it's constantly breaking. You're going to have to buy 10 batteries for your GoPros each because GoPro batteries are bad. It's going to get shot out a couple times. You're going to buy new lenses. It's... Yeah. Camera goes down. Again, you're making either a half-assed video now or no video.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of things that would turn something I like doing as a hobby on occasion into no fun. No fun. Like, you have to be prepared to turn into a job, and that's just not what I'm willing to do.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. So what do you want to do for your job?
I either want to work in like think tanks, policy groups, stuff like that. Maybe NGOs, that type of deal. Like work for a Fortune 500 companies, government affairs division, interest groups, or federal law enforcement. Or just like a staff position in like a cabinet level, like a Department of Transportation job. Like that's the example I use, but like State Department. Yeah. Anything that has a cabinet seat, I like to work. Like even like the interior, any. Yeah. Most cabinet like DOJ, any of those, I'd like to work for.
Mm-hmm. What's the end goal with that, president or? Like,
oh hell no! I don't want to work for public office. I want to get out and work in the. Well, the goal is if I start out in the public sector is to get out and work for the private sector eventually. Gotcha. Or be get my pension, keep the job 30 years, get my pension, leave, whatever. Yeah. Depends how much I like it. I have no interest in running for public office. I think I have a very deep opinion that if you want to run for anything higher than mayor of your town, no matter how big your city is, you're a sociopath. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you have to give up enough of yourself that I wouldn't mind working as a staff for one of them. So I don't have to give up enough of my morals. I'm just there getting my check and leaving. Yeah, I can leave at any time. But to run for public office is compromising views in yourself to want power, and I don't really need power over anyone. I'm chilling. I'm cool. Yeah. Which is very ironic that I want to be federal law enforcement, but I think my dad was a police officer in Chicago, so like, I don't know. I view the act of especially federal law enforcement policing a bit different than holding public office in terms of the power dynamics. Because I think. I don't like how the state of it is now of politics. I don't like how polarizing it is, and I don't like the lack of compromising that is going on. Yeah. And also, as much as enforcing bad laws would probably wane on anyone that does the job, because there are officers who do get into the job for the completely wrong reasons, that they just want to arrest people. Yeah. They're all about arresting. They're not about building a relationship with the community. They're not about even enforcing the law. They're about, I can do this now. Yeah. I have a badge. I have the power. There's going to always, and that it goes the other way for elected officials too. There are people who at least, I think almost everyone who wants to be in elected office starts out like, they're basically, from a pragmatist point of view, I can do it better. Yeah. Which is not necessarily sociopathic. You can look at the job of politician and think, you suck, I can do it better. Yeah, which is a lot of people say. But then, lots of money hits your door to go to do the same thing they did, and it's hard to turn down that money for any person. Yeah. I don't know how many people, it's easy to criticize it, because it is a valid criticism. Yeah. But how many of us would actually say no is a very interesting proposition. Yeah, I don't know. You don't know unless you're in that position. Yeah. I'd like to think that I wouldn't take the money. I'd like to think that I'd stand by morals, but I mean... But you don't know when you fold. You just don't, because we've never seen six-figure checks in front of us just sitting there. Yeah. I've never seen six figures, period. Yeah, so 6-7 figure check hits your desk or hits your campaign, per se.
Well,
to look the other way. It's like, do you have the courage to say no?
Yeah.
Some decisions are easier than others. There's some morally ambiguous things that you can, it doesn't really, it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like, there's easy ones is what I'm saying. There's freebies that you can deny.
Yeah. So, like, I guess this is an interesting question, but I don't even know if it's applicable to where you want to go. Like, what party would you be? Or, well, your own party or third party? Or...
I'm definitely independent.
Gotcha.
I believe the American political landscape would do better with more parties.
Oh, for sure.
With more big parties. Because there are a lot of political parties in America. There's a big list of them. If you go on Wikipedia, there's a lot of political parties for very narrow political subsets.
Yeah.
I don't agree with most of any of them wholeheartedly, nor should anyone.
Yeah.
You should not agree fully with a party's platform unless you work for them.
Yeah, but like having that diversity of ideas when you're
when it's
voting.
just boiled down to two realistic ones, it's not. You got to sacrifice a lot of yourself to vote. Because you're choosing the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
And it should be the lesser. I think it should be the lesser of 30 evils.
Yeah.
Because the lesser of 30 evils is going to be the least evil possible than two. It's just it's just going to happen. There'll be there's more narrow. There'll be more compromising, more coalition building.
Yeah.
I'm not saying moving to a parliamentarian system that like a Canada or UK or maybe every other democracy, but we have because we're a republic, so we're a bit different. But I am saying more parties, not like maybe not running for president per se, but in the Senate, in the House, in state houses, on local town councils, state senate, like mayors of cities. That would be because I think the biggest third party in this country is the Libertarian Party, and I think they hold 4 seats total in state houses of all 50 of them.
Yeah,
they hold 4 or 5 seats. I could be wrong about that, but it is barely 1%.
Yeah, I don't even think libertarians are too big on working for the government, considering their views on the government.
Yeah, but that's the biggest third party in America.
Yeah.
And I think the Green Party has a seat or 2 in some state house, and they might be the mayor of like a city of over 50,000, like somewhere in this country. I can't tell you where, but that's it. And those are your two biggest part. That's your third and fourth biggest party.
Yeah.
Straight up. And that's it.
I don't think there's any incentive to make another big party. Or, like, I don't even know how we go about it.
I mean, there's no incentive because it's such a tall mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Like, basically, one would have to collapse. They'd both have to collapse at the same time and then splinter. And then that's how the power vacuum gets filled. Because one can't collapse because another big one would just take its place. Because that's what's happened in most of American history. When the Whigs fell, it was the Democratic Party then came up in its place. When the Democratic Republicans fell, it was the Whigs. Yeah, I think because it was the Republicans and the Democratic Republicans.
Yeah.
And then the Democratic Republicans folded and the Whigs Party came up.
Mm-hmm. So you're like...
I could be getting my early American political history very wrong, but I could be in the orders wrong. But basically, it's just every time a big party has failed in American history, which is not often, one's just come up in its place pretty much within a presidential election cycle. So within 4 years, a new one has taken its place.
Yeah. Like like the Federalists and Anti-Federalists were the first two parties, weren't they?
That's what it was. It was the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans. And the Democratic Republicans became the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then the Federalists failed and became the Whigs. That's what it is.
All right. Well, glad I could help you out with that. I know, like, zero about history, but glad I knew that one thing.
Yeah, some along those lines. Again, could be horribly wrong, but...
Yeah, some history buffs going to get you in the comments.
Yeah, but again, one party, and then you have sometimes an okay independent challenger, but all they do is really split votes. I mean, the Abraham Lincoln election is the most contested in American history. There were 4 different parties going on there, because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. There was the Whigs. There was there was a couple other ones, man, I forget it, but there was 4 major parties in that one. That's probably the most contested election in American history. So... And then you have some famous third challengers like Teddy Roosevelt, the Bull Moose Party. Yeah.
The one in 2000 that
Ross Perot.
Ross Perot, yeah.
Yeah, and those are your most famous third party challenges.
Yeah. And that one split the Democrats, and that's how
Bush won. Yeah, beat Al Gore. because
Yeah.
Perot won like one state.
Wait, was it the other way around? Might have been the Clinton election that did that.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, it was
Right,
the
it
Clinton
split the
election.
Republicans.
It split the
you're right.
Republicans and the
Yeah, Ross
Clinton
Perot.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ross Perot ran, and then Donald Trump was going to be their next candidate for the 2000 election.
Yeah.
But they just dissolved entirely because there was a big split within the
Oh
party.
yeah, he was going to be his vice president.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the that was a crazy time.
Yeah. Donald Trump's first presidential run was unsuccessful, and then his second one, obviously.
Yo, he's been on 3 because he was going to be the vice president for a third party ticket before it folded. Then he briefly explored it in 2012.
Yeah.
And then he ran. So.
Obviously in 2016, yeah. Oh, boy. Now we have Biden. I voted for Biden, and I don't know.
I'm very open to say who I voted. I voted for Tulsi Gabbard. I wrote her in. I didn't like either candidate particularly well, so
yeah.
I don't get the vote in primaries in Illinois because I'm a registered independent. They have closed primaries, so I didn't have really choice in the matter of who I need to vote for, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I vote for my judges. I vote for my mayor of my town. I'll vote for my local state representatives with real interest, and that's about it.
Yeah. I did not feel good about casting that vote, but I felt better than I would if I would have voted.
But that's the problem.
The
That's the problem with the system, is that you shouldn't feel that bad about your vote.
Yeah.
And also, I think we need to stop. I think the other thing is we need to destigmatize throwing away your vote. You didn't throw away your vote.
Yeah.
If you vote for a third party, you voted closer to your heart. Good job. Do you, dude. You have that. There's a blank spot for write-ins for a reason.
Yeah, and if we had more people with that mentality, then...
It doesn't matter if they don't win. You voted the way you got the vote in our democratic system. Go crazy, dude. I really do not care. You can, as long as the person... I think the person has to exist and want to be running for president.
Like, you can't write in Mike Myers.
Yeah, don't run in like Mickey Mouse or some shit.
Yeah, I know.
Like, write in someone who either is in office, you can write in yourself. If you want to do the job, be my guest. Write in yourself.
Yeah.
If you think you're the best person for the job, write in yourself.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get 2 votes.
Yeah, but you vote for whoever you want to vote for. There's a lot of names on those ballots. Illinois had about 5 or 6 different parties on the presidential ballot.
Yeah.
Because there's some other smaller ones. The American Communist Party is another of the big smaller ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other ones. There's the Socialists. They're different. There's the Socialist of America. I forget I forget all of them. I know the Constitutionalists. There's some big in the South. The super far right ones.
Yeah.
That's one I just thought of because that's one I remembered.
You think Donald Trump will run again, 2024?
I think he will. I think for purely putting aside my personal politics aside as a strategist is a bad move.
Yeah.
He's too old. We need to put an age cap on this presidency shit.
Yeah.
Or your mind better be very sharp if you're over that age, and there better be a very testable way of doing that.
Yeah.
It's a mistake because you'll probably die in office.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's too old to be the torchbearer. There's younger options that the Republican Party could use that'll have the same effect of Trump, especially with how unpopular basically every Democratic candidate that they want to run is.
Yeah.
From a pure strategic point, right?
Yeah.
No one likes Kamala, in my humble opinion.
I don't think anyone is too fond of the presidency right now.
Yeah, no one likes anyone involved in the presidency. Your most popular Democrat, or your most outspoken Democrat's too young to run for president at the moment.
Yeah.
Nor should she, AOC. She should run for Senate first and prove she can win a statewide election.
Yeah.
Before a national one. The Republicans have one choice that they probably should use. And it's the question of, is Trump too selfish, which he is.
Yeah,
Obviously, to step aside, they're gonna have to really hope the man dies or has health concerns. Not I hope for him to die, but if the strategist would probably be better off with him not being around for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So they can run around DeSantis, because that's probably strategically their best move. He's young, he's a firebrand, he's proven he can win a statewide election in a purple state, might we add. So. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, though. Every presidential, it's interesting, the primary process.
Yeah.
They're not chosen beforehand. That's not true. It's really just how the primary part, you got to go state by state. Every state's different. So that's why, I mean, I was one of those people who were like, no way Biden wins after he lost those first couple. But once he won South Carolina, the Democratic primary in South Carolina, it was on.
Yeah.
Then that was it. I mean, it's all about who gets momentum at the right time. Because Trump didn't win Iowa. I think Ted Cruz won Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, or Rand Paul. One of those two won Iowa in 2016. Pete Buttigieg, if I'm not mistaken, won Iowa. So, and then in 2012, Mitt Romney didn't win Iowa either. Rick Santorum won Iowa in 2012. I remember that vividly for some reason.
Dang.
2008, Obama didn't win Iowa either. I think John Edwards or Hillary Clinton won Iowa. So
Hillary Clinton, yeah.
2016, I don't think Hillary won Iowa either. But you know, like the way they choose the primaries is a very interesting view of politics in America, because it's really just kind of a crapshoot of people. Especially in recent, these have been the biggest primary processes in American history. For each respective parties had their biggest one.
Yeah.
So the Republicans had 16 in 26, 16 or 18. The Democrats had 22.
Yeah.
Going into Iowa. I mean, sure, like 8 of them dropped out after Iowa, but like the state, they had 2 debates for 2 different nights because there was too many people.
Yeah.
It was insane. They had a B stage. When you got so many people running for president, you got a B stage, you got a problem.
Yeah, but didn't you just say you wanted a bunch of parties?
Oh, no, I'm saying like for the same party's ticket. You have a problem if you're the Democratic Party, not for the voter.
Yeah.
You have a problem if you're the party. Like, why are all these people doing this?
They just wanted a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't think there's some Bohemian Grove kind of like conspiracy that's just like they know who's going to be president when they put him up there?
No, I don't. No. I think there are powers that be that definitely have major influence, but they can't choose the presidency. The American system is set up with the state by state way that you have to win. Too many people have to be involved in the conspiracy for it to work.
Yeah, I gotcha. I don't believe in voter fraud. I want to make that clear. Do not believe in voter fraud, but I just believe that
I don't believe it's ever had the influence on an election.
Yeah, like I
grew up in Chicago, so like that's the thing. Local politics are so hilariously corrupt that it's fine. Voter fraud is not really thrown a national election. Yeah. You might see it. It's thrown local elections for sure, 100%.
Really?
Because you can get away with it in a local election.
I had no idea.
I mean, you can stuff ballot boxes, and you know, it doesn't happen as much anymore. It happened a lot. Probably, you know, I'd say your heyday of it would be post Reconstruction till after the Civil Rights Movement of the '60s.
Yeah.
That was nothing but voter fraud.
Yeah, probably. Well, actually, definitely.
There was nothing but intimidation of black voters, stuffing ballot boxes, poll taxes. That was all voter fraud.
Yeah.
From Chicago, Mayor Daley, the first one, you know, there's the rumor that he wheeled out a bunch of ballots to get JFK elected in the 60s. Now, I did say I don't really believe that one. Yeah. Personally. But then... there's a lot of aldermen in Chicago who've definitely been basically city council members. That's what they call them, they're aldermen. Yeah. Who've been elected, just, you know, they probably stuffed the ballot box. Yeah. You know, or they use very dubious, like basically bribing people to vote. Like, oh, here's $20. Good, be a good citizen. Yeah, exactly. Or, here's your electric bill paid now. You're paid the favor. You know, stuff like that. More shady stuff. Not changing some code in a computer. Again, it falls from the same. The conspiracy was too big for no one to notice for voter fraud for Trump to go in his favor. It was too widespread. Too many states. It would have been one thing if it came down to like Ohio and like a singular county in Ohio, right? Yeah. That'd be easy to, you know, to throw one county, but it's so small that it's conceivable because not that many people would be involved in it. And then you have the recording of the call of Trump trying to get voter fraud, but like in his favor. Yeah, but when you throw, when it's Arizona, Georgia, shit. I forgot the other states in it, to be honest with you. I was bad political science major, me, bad. But those are the two big ones that I always remember. But you also have to remember, I think Trump supporters, and not Trump, but people in this country were really just voting because they hated the other person more, not because they liked them. I think people like Trump. I think people love Trump a lot. I see Trump. Oh, no, but I think... it might have switched from 16. I think people voted for Trump to spite Hillary and the establishment more than they liked him. But then those voters voted for Biden to spite Trump. And then also a lot of new voters did this. There were too many new voters who did not vote in 16. Yeah.
I didn't vote in 16. I couldn't.
Well, yeah, we could. But who did not like Trump enough to vote for Biden? They might have not liked the dude, but Trump's a very grating personality. I'm not going to get into policy or anything because it doesn't really matter. He's a very grating personality. He's very exhausting.
Yeah.
People just kind of want it to stop eventually.
He's kind of stupid. He's a little stupid.
He's a bit dumb too.
Yeah.
I give you that.
Well, I can't.
Here's the thing. I give the man credit where he gives credit due because it helps talk. You can talk to people. I'll give Biden credit for stuff he does.
Yeah.
I'll give Trump credit for stuff he does because you deserve credit for what you do right.
Yeah.
And it's also a good way to kind of heal this stupid divide we have over politics because I hate seeing families tear each other apart over something as stupid as politics.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing, and as much as I like it, it's stupid.
Everything feels so
either or,
and it feels so grandiose now. It's like, I voted for this racist person. Well, yeah. I voted for this racist person, and this racist person isn't actually racist. He just believes in segregation.
And everything has so much stakes to it. It's the littlest thing.
Yeah.
It's like something that we would not have cared of is I'm getting news alerts for now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten news alerts for in 2015 because I've had news alerts on my phone for a while, and I noticed why do we care? Do the American public really care about this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or are they just the media is doing its job of making people angry? I really does the American people really care this much about this particular legislation? Would they? I'm not saying they shouldn't. I think that if you want to care about it, you should care about it. If you want to care about the daily goings of Congress, which is boring as hell, but important work nonetheless.
Someone needs to be policing them, yeah.
Yeah. But it's good that the media covers it and all, but the way they would frame the story or oh, they're attacking this legislation or the debate is stalled or this, and it's just, it's loaded language.
Yeah.
And of course the politicians take advantage of it to draw out more votes and make more money.
Yeah. I think that it's always good when people's voices are heard, though, especially on issues like abortion or issues like racial justice.
Which is one I stay out of because I have a dick. See, this is not my forte. I'll let y'all decide that.
Yeah, for real. And I guess the whole point is, if you want women to have the choice, then there you go. You vote the way that they have a choice. They have more of a choice. But I think, everything feels so.
End of the world.
End of the world, yeah. Because people are getting the rights that they fought so hard for ripped away in some regards. And in some regards, their rights are getting ripped away while people are saying your rights aren't getting ripped away. You're being dumb. You're not looking at what we're actually doing. When they're ripping their rights away, as they're stripping them of their rights, they're telling them that they're not stripping them of their rights. And
again,
they're gaslighting them.
Going back to my strategist point of view, because I do believe that I do actually have a belief on abortion. I just don't share it often because, again, it's not really my debate.
Yeah.
I have the belief, but I'm just not really one to wade into the debate because it doesn't matter what I say because it's not my body.
Yeah,
I will never have to deal with it in my life. I'll never have to deal with maybe getting one or not. So I'm very hands-off on those discussions.
That's respectful.
But however, from the strategic point of view, they should stop arguing that it's the right to abortion because basically it can be boiled down by anyone who's against it to the right to kill babies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It should be it's a health care act.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a right to your health care. That's a much more palatable to the American public and the people sitting on the fence than the right to abortion. No, this is like getting a surgery. This is a medical procedure.
Yeah.
Effectively.
So you're thinking...
You're denying someone a medical procedure. That could save their lives, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you have states that are getting rid of exceptions, or that want to get rid of exception. Even the exceptions that were normally almost everyone agreed on, mother's life, rape, incest, the three ones were do it.
Or the implantation in the fallopian tube.
Yeah, mother's life, to save the mother's life.
Yeah, I guess that would be mother's life, yeah.
Now you have people who are like, no, all of it. It's like...
All of it?
Like, what?
At Catholic churches, you can't do it. At Catholic churches, they won't do it.
And then I can't get behind that because I think that level, I think, should be the baseline for where we start.
Yeah.
The debate should not be done because if you ban them, it's an argument that they use, and for all disclosure, I'm very pro Second Amendment. It's the one thing that I'm very unwavering on. my dad was a cop. I've been shooting my whole life. President of the Clemson Marksmanship Club here. So I basically run a gun club for students. So,
Gotcha.
but I've been very pro Second Amendment. But it's a similar argument of, oh, they'll just get them illegally, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have women who are desperate going to back alley abortions, which are unsafe.
Yeah.
Because an abortion is a very safe procedure when done by trained professionals in a sterile, safe environment. When it's done in some vet side hustle, some veterinarian side hustle, it's a very dangerous procedure.
Yeah.
And it'll get women killed.
Yeah.
And it's a very similar argument of the criminals will get the guns illegally anyway. It's almost identical argument.
Yeah.
So I just don't get how they don't notice it, but it just, yeah, I mean, again, if they have a right to it.
Uh-huh.
It's probably protected under the Ninth Amendment, which is kind of the catch-all amendments where the right for privacy comes in. Because technically you don't have a right to privacy in America.
Yeah. It's
not in the Constitution. It's nowhere. You're not going to find it in the Bill of Rights anywhere. But the Ninth Amendment's very wide interpretation. That's how you have a right to privacy.
Yeah.
So that's where it's interpreted as now. And it's going to, I mean, the Supreme Court rarely goes back on precedent. So it's probably not going away. They're probably going to get struck down, but it's going to take time. And this time people don't really have.
Yeah.
Because a Supreme Court case, on a good day, takes 1 to 3 years to move through. On a good day.
Yeah. They already had a Supreme Court case about abortion.
Roe v. Wade.
So,
and the question is, because the Supreme Court rarely goes back on its word. They've gone back on their word about 3 or 4 times, and those are the 3 universal bad decisions the Supreme Court's ever made. First one was Dred v. Scott in 1857. Yes, that was when that said that black people were not citizens when he sued for his freedom.
Yeah.
They overturned that. That effectively got overturned by the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments.
Yeah, I do remember that from, I think, middle school.
There was Plessy v. Ferguson, which separate but equal. That got overturned by Brown v. Board of Education.
Yep.
And then there was one that wasn't even that didn't even get overturned by anything. It was, I forget the name of the case because it's a Japanese name, but it was the Japanese internment camps. Those were ruled constitutional by the Supreme Court, and they didn't have to get overturned because the war ended.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 universal bad Supreme Court.
So wait, internment camps are still viewed as constitutional by the U.S. government?
No, they're not. They've made them. They've made laws and stuff after. But like at the time, they sued that this is bullshit, which it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now it would have been one thing if they put all the Germans and Italians into internment camps. It would have been wrong still, but it'd been equal. No, the legal standpoint of America would have been a lot stronger if they put all these people are enemies of us. But it was clearly racial because the Germans and Italians never got even thinking about putting in camps, but the Japanese did.
So clearly a racist.
It was clearly a racist. It was clearly against the 14th Amendment, but the Supreme Court didn't do it because war reasons. I don't really know how it upstood legal muster.
And people try to glorify the internment camps, but like people died and then people were killed.
Yeah,
people were starved to death.
It was not a pleasant time.
No.
Now I wouldn't compare it to anything any truly authoritarian fascist government's ever done. Yeah. Because it wasn't like that. It's really hard to say it wasn't that bad, but in comparison it was not. It wasn't. You can never compare it to what a Soviet gulag was. Yeah. A Holocaust camp. It's just not the same. Yeah. At the end of the day.
But it definitely
it's a wrong. It's a wrong that we've paid for. They've gone as much as the government can give back from taking 4 years away from someone's life
or their life.
Yeah. So, but America's paid their debts to that as much as they could.
I don't know. I just remember learning, especially World War II history, just black and white. Nazis were the bad guys, we were the good guys, and we triumphed over evil. And then, you go a little bit more on your own research, and then you realize, oh, wait a second. Not only did we beat the Nazis which we did, which wasn't good. But we also recruited a lot of Nazi scientists to run similar experiments on each other.
Rockets are cool, though.
Rockets are cool. We
don't go to space without those Nazi scientists. We don't put a man on the moon without them. Operation Paperclip is morally dubious, yes, because a lot of those jet scientists and rocket scientists use Jewish slave labor to build their rocket craft for their experiments. However, the stuff they learned about that, I mean, we don't have the modern satellite technology we have today without the space race. We don't have, it doesn't happen as fast.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
I'd rather have human lives than a satellite TV.
It's not just satellite TV. It's more of just all the technological advance that's happened. I'm not saying it was morally right to do it, but the good that has come from pretty much stealing those scientists, because it happened, it's either this country is in control of it in the center or the Soviets were going to be. It was a power play because they were both taking scientists. It was whoever they can get first.
Yeah.
The Russians got more of the jet people. We got more of the rocket people. That's how I break it down.
Yeah.
And not every Nazi scientist was an avowed Nazi. It was just more of survival. They weren't proud members of not every single was a proud member of the party. I'm not defending them not leaving when like their Jewish compatriots left the country.
Yeah. Or
having a backbone then. However, not every one of them was, buddy with Hitler at the end of the day too. And a lot of them had a choice in the matter or to which side to defect to. And a lot of them chose America because living in Soviet Union, not fun. But it does raise a very more question that we did do Operation Paperclip. And we did pretty much absolve a lot of those people of their crimes.
And we had MK Ultra as well.
I like it. MK Ultra is a crazy story.
Yeah, just experimenting on the American people, doing shit that Hitler did to the Jews, to our own people. It's just like, who's really the good guy here? I mean, we're probably less evil than Nazis. But is that the bar now? Less evil than Nazis? We're the good guys all of a sudden?
I think all governments are inherently evil.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They're definitely... I think governments implicitly have to violate human rights to some degree.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a question of, we have, up until 1968, 1970, the Constitution did not mean shit because it didn't protect everyone. Around then is when I think it started protecting everyone, for the most part, equally.
Yeah.
As close as you can get without human biases coming in, because they're still because governments are run by humans, and humans are intrinsically biased and not good to each other sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know the alternative.
It's the least worst idea. You have a sheet of paper where the government can't cross those lines, and if they do, the government's in the wrong, and you pray that sheet of paper never gets torn up.
Yeah.
When you have, without those protections, you're at the mercy of either the government being benevolent or evil.
Yeah, but then the government's in the wrong, but who holds the government accountable? Who's holding the American government accountable? Us? They don't have anything.
I mean, it is us to a certain extent. We get the vote in, it's us and really the courts. Because the courts interpret the law. Now again, they have made bad decisions because they're human. They're going to make bad decisions.
Yeah.
No system's going to be perfect per se. Yeah. But we do have protections of being able to vote people out of office.
Mm-hmm.
We do have protection of being able to sue them.
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest protections we have. And we do also have the nuclear option, which I call it, which is they let us keep guns for some reason.
Yeah.
Which was a very stupid. It's very stupid for a government to let its citizenry do that.
Yeah.
In any capacity.
To hold guns?
Yes, to hold arms to revolt against the government. Not like on the federal level, but on a local level is more likely what's going to happen. Battle of Athens in 1948 is a very good example.
The right to form a militia.
Yeah.
Well, because that's how this government was created. That's how America was founded.
It's the last check, and I don't think we're so far from needing to use that check.
Yeah.
That there will be a point in our society, I think we'll be long gone by then, if it survives, that we're going to move past the need of the Second Amendment.
I mean,
I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but there will be a point, because I believe that when I approach Second Amendment, I believe that most gun control is worthless.
Yeah.
But if you believe that strongly in it, you can go and get 2/3 of the state legislators to agree that we've moved past the Second Amendment and repeal it, and I'll honor that choice.
Yeah.
Only because I realize I'm so in the popular minority that I'm definitely on the wrong side of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. That's really respectable. Yeah.
But until then, you got to get that much people to be like, okay,
Yeah.
we need to move past this.
But if the people do it,
Yeah, because that would be the
And
people,
it's
because
like-
that's 2/3 of the state legislators. So
Yeah.
that's a wide margin of America.
but when the people do it, it doesn't move the needle at all. The people have been begging for it for, what, decades now?
What?
And gun control.
Lots of gun control's been passed.
I mean, yeah, but not as comprehensive. People are still screaming for it.
I think you have two very strong minorities screaming for what either total anarchy, I'm going to call it total gun anarchy, and
Yeah.
what they call comprehensive gun control. Again, you can tell in my bias in my voice while I'm saying it that I don't like it, but then there's a large group in the middle who are very indifferent until it one way or another affects them.
Yeah.
You either get rabid gun owners by people wishing they needed it, that they had one in their time of need,
Yeah.
or victims of gun violence. And that's how you get your two sides. It's by personal experience only. If I wasn't raised shooting my entire life, I'd be indifferent to the whole thing probably.
Mm.
But since I've been shooting my entire life, and me and my dad have been shooting, firearms have been an intrinsic part of my life. There's no other way to say it. For
Yeah.
my entire life, I have my views on it.
Yeah. It's just scary. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, lots of gun control has been passed since, I'd say, gun control started in the 1930s. And
Yeah.
lots have been passed. You used to be able to order a machine gun from a Sears catalog and have it shipped to your front door. You can buy a Tommy gun from a book and just, mail,
Yeah.
telegram, order it, and it'd be at your door in 3 weeks.
This one looks nice. What's that, $500? That's
Yeah,
nice.
And that's only $500. It's insane.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great time to be alive if you were a white dude.
Yeah, that's the point. That's
Because a part of me wishes damn, I wish I could buy a Tommy gun for $500 on fucking on Amazon. That should be dope.
It's like, well, then everyone
just
can
the
do
boy,
it.
the boy, the real little boy. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Then there's other gun control acts. Your big ones really are you got the waiting period for a handgun, national background check. Then you had the assault weapons ban from '94 to '04. Then all the other local ordinances that people have, like California, New York, Maryland, are your states that have the most comprehensive of the states.
Yeah.
Now the federal level is where people are arguing that they should do more. However, it's hard to define what people really want,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I can go point for point and try to explain why or why not it might not work, or how
Yeah.
it sounds more good. I don't know if I don't want to it's been very political this
Yeah.
whole time. We can move on after this if you want. I don't know if this show is really
Oh, no, you're
it's gonna be
good.
divisive as hell. I'm just saying.
It's honestly, you said some things that I disagree with. I've probably said things that you disagree with.
But
it's all just
I
conversational.
like to start the first one with the assault weapons ban because that sounds really good. And
Yeah.
I get where people are coming from with it because there's two main reasons. A, they look scary if you've never shot one. If you've never been around them your entire life, they look scary. And effectively, I can see that
Yeah.
point of view of them being scary. And B, why does anyone need that? Those are your two main arguments. And I understand, in a perfect world, we wouldn't need them.
Yeah.
But I have three main reasons for why I own an assault weapon.
Alright.
And there's also the definition of an assault weapon is very loose.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that makes an assault weapon that does not affect the gun.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in my riflery class I took here, I brought my personal .22 caliber rifle that has a bunch of bells and whistles on it, and then it's effectively the same rifle as they use in the class.
Yeah.
But mine has a pistol grip and a stock that moves up and down for comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Those two features make an assault weapon in every state that has a classification for an assault weapon.
Oh.
And effectively bans it. But the same gun without a little extra grip and a stock that moves up and down is legal. So what I'm saying is the laws they want aren't effective.
Uh-huh.
They either got to get more comprehensive or you don't make the law at all because it's going to do nothing to stop gun violence. Or to move the needle. B, rifles of all kinds, assault bolt action, your normal hunting rifles, non-AR-15s, and including AR-15s. More people are killed with hammers and then hands and feet than rifles in this country every year. So in terms of moving the gun violence needle, is it worth trying to confiscate or tax millions of people who don't do anything? The effort and lives that will be lost in that, especially with how rabid gun culture is in America, would overshadow the lives lost every year to rifles.
Yeah.
It'd be and this is where it comes to my point that all this would have worked if in 1934, the Gun Control Act, you ban the ownership of similar semi-auto, because they had similar, not similar weapons, but you can see the technology was there. It was in consumer, it was in the market. If you were to ban them all in 1934, before the number was high and it was a lot easier to enforce, it would have worked.
Huh.
You had to ban them early. It's too proliferated now. It's almost like you can't close Pandora's box, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think...
But it sounds really nice, and it's really easy to drum up for political wins on both sides. Either they're coming for your guns, or we gotta ban them all, you know?
Yeah, because I think...
Sorry.
No, go... no. But... Where was I going? Oh, yeah. It's kind of like... I guess the scarier side of it is every one of my friends that has grown up in South Carolina and some that are grown up in other states have a story where their school either was shot up or almost got shot up. I mean, I have 2 or 3 instances where my school was almost shot up. And one of them, they actually had to go to the guy's house the day before the shooting, and he gave them all their, like, just arrested him. And he had guns, he was ready to shoot up the school. And that's the scary part for me is like, well, our schools should be safe, and most of the guns that, you know, people use to shoot up schools are their parents that aren't locked up.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, legally obtained. They're not hardened criminals that are going up to shoot up schools. They're just normal kids whose parents have semi-automatic or automatic weapons that they can use to.
So that's another common. I don't want to take away from your point. It's another common misconception. Almost no one has automatic weapons in this country. They're heavily regulated already.
But the bump stocks, right?
Bump stocks are shit. That thing is shady. I don't believe that many conspiracy theories. That Vegas shit is shady as hell, man.
The what?
The Vegas shit. I'm not saying it's like a false flag or anything, but that dude, bro, that wasn't random.
I don't know.
It wasn't as random. The one where their bump stocks were used in Las Vegas, the mass shooting in Vegas. That was the one where bump stocks got banned afterwards by Trump. Ironically, fun fact: Trump has got gun control done. Obama didn't. That's a really weird fun fact in politics. I really like to point out. But
I'm sure Trump supporters would fight you on that. He didn't pass no gun control. What the heck?
But bump stocks effectively are shit. That's in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
They mimic automatic fire because basically all it is that it's moving your arm. It's in your trigger. Your finger just keeps hitting the trigger. It doesn't change the gun though, because you can buy an automatic rifle is going to cost you $20,000 minimum on a great day on a good auction from like some dead dude's wife wants to get rid of it auction. You're going to get it for $15,000-$20,000.
Yeah.
So automatic weapons. Now, it's not super hard to make one. ATF, please don't arrest me. I don't know how to, but I know it's not hard.
Yeah.
But we have this pesky thing that other countries don't. When it comes to passing gun control, that is the Second Amendment. We have to have, by law, by the law of the Bill of Rights, we have to have access to firearms. The citizenry has to.
Yeah.
And it cannot have an undue burden of restriction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem we have when passing laws. That's why I said if you believe in gun control, you should repeal the Second Amendment so each state can really boil down of what they want, or the federal government through the representative bodies could boil down what the people really want.
Yeah.
Because let's say it's just okay, either they repeal it and the federal government's like, okay, it's all up to the 50 states. You can do whatever you want now. You don't have this restriction, or the federal government decides they want to do what they wanted to do. After you repeal the Second Amendment, you can. But until you do that, because then I think that will be a very good, it's like this many people are onto it now.
Yeah.
Because once you break it down, the schematics and how much it doesn't really help move the needle that much, and I'm going to get back to your school shootings point, because it is a very valid point, because no other country in the civilized world has that problem.
Yeah.
But I do not think that banning assault weapons would even... There's too many of them at this point. You can 3D print guns now.
Yeah.
The war is already lost on gun control is what I'm saying. We kind of have to accept the fact that we live... Like, it's sad to say that to some people that you're gonna have to just accept the fact that we live in this high gun culture place. We don't have much more violent crime than the UK has. Yeah. I'm not going to say like Germany or Switzerland because those places have much lower rates of violent crime, but that's economic issues and socioeconomic, racial issues that play into that too.
Yeah.
But in terms of rates of violence, we're not too far off the rest of those civilized Western, like not the civilized world. That was a bad term. The similar economic per capita status countries.
Yeah.
Our rate of violent crime is not that much higher. Our rate of murder isn't that much higher, if it is higher. It's just the tools that they use for murder are different. In the UK, it's knives, hammers, blunt objects, an occasional firearm, hands and fists.
Yeah.
Here, it's guns. The rate doesn't change. The per 100,000 doesn't change. We have a lot more people than almost every other country of our similar economic standing.
Yeah.
And our similar government style, too, I should add, as well. Because China has a huge middle class, but since their government style is very authoritarian, they don't have firearms issues because they're never allowed to have them.
Yeah.
I also think, well, that's another one of my big opinions, is that every authoritarian country does take the gun. They are right about that. When they're fear-mongering, they are right about that. Every authoritarian country does not let its citizenry hold firearms.
Yeah. But not everyone who doesn't want you to have firearms is an authoritarian government.
Correct. That's the double standard.
It's the rectangle or the square is a rectangle, not a rectangle is a square.
That's the problem. No, I think some of the people in America are aspirational authoritarians, as there are in every representative government.
Oh, yeah.
There's always someone who wants more power.
Yeah.
And disarming people is a key to gaining that power because it's really hard to hold power if you're dead.
Yeah. But...
And if you don't control the only group of people who have guns.
Yeah.
If there's an unknown party of people with guns, you can't account for them.
Yeah.
You can always account for the army and the police, but you can't account for Joe's random militia in the middle of Georgia.
Yeah, which is probably a real thing.
Yeah.
Knowing Georgia.
But you can never account for that as a government, and that scares. It scares government, and it can. It scares people too.
Yeah.
So, it's the debate that will never get solved unless again, if you can build enough political support. I'm willing to even amend it to add certain things, but I don't think the banning of types of firearms would help much.
Yeah. What do you think would help? We'll
background checks. Actually, there's some groups I follow, like interest groups I follow, that don't believe in a lot of things. So, I believe in background checks. Background checks are good.
You need more comprehensive background checks?
I think it needs to be, not more comprehensive, it needs to be enforced. I think when you go to buy a firearm, you fill out this form called 4473, and you go through the instant background check system. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. If you pass, pay, gun, good to go. In some states with a waiting period, you come back in 3 days, pay, good to go, done.
Yeah.
Right? If you fail, no one's going to come for you if you fail the background check. The ATF will not come and arrest, or the FBI will, I think they've arrested 12 people since 1997.
Jeez.
With it. Also, the president's son did fail one of those, by the way, Hunter Biden. He did not get arrested for it. Because he was a known drug user, hard drug user, so he was not allowed to possess a firearm. Yeah. And he went to buy one and failed the background check. If you enforce laws like that, where it's like, oh, this dude is a convicted felon and just tried to buy a gun legally, like a dumbass, by the way.
Yeah.
Because go arrest him. He tried to possess something that he is, by law, not allowed to have that is a deadly instrument.
Yeah.
Arrest that man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of laws that can due to be enforced better.
Yeah. And
our databases need to be kept up to date better too.
That's what I was about to say.
So one other big one was, there was this one in Texas where this dude was dishonorably discharged, which is basically equivalent to being a felon.
Yeah. In
terms of legal status. Not allowed to own a gun. The Air Force forgot to put it in the computer. So to the rest of, to every other one's database, he just left the military, just a normal guy.
Yeah.
When he should never have been allowed to possess one.
Yeah.
So there has to be real consequences for failing doing their jobs from the department levels. There has to be enforcement of the laws we already have.
Yeah.
So effectively also straw purchasing, which is buying a gun legally. Like, let's say you were a felon, I was not.
Yeah.
I'd go into a store, I'd buy a gun, and I'd give it to you or sell it to you. That's a straw purchase. That's a big problem. Because you cannot knowingly sell a firearm to a felon.
Yeah.
The ATF they don't really enforce that well either.
Well, it's hard. That would be hard.
It's not as hard as you think.
Really.
Basically, well, Chicago has no gun stores.
Yeah.
They're in the near suburbs. The city Chicago doesn't. But a lot of people go to Indiana and Wisconsin to buy the guns because you don't have to be an in-state resident to buy rifles and shotguns. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, I know this. I bought guns in South Carolina. I even have an Illinois driver's license, and it's perfectly legal. And you drive back to Chicago and you sell the guns out of your trunk. it's a very easy process of you wait outside the gun shop, you know this person lives in the city, and you follow them back, and you bust them.
Yeah.
But it's resources, time, effort, and it doesn't give them more funding.
Yeah.
A whole new program, and I'm not saying it's like not everyone that works for the ATF is this nefarious bootlicker Nazi. Some people would like you to think that. I don't. I really don't. I think there's a lot of people who are just trying to do a good job. They're thinking there's also 2 other parts of alcohol and tobacco that everyone forgets about too, I guess. So,
yeah.
But there are probably some bigwigs who are like, we can really pad our personal books and pad our salaries if we have this new program. And this is for any federal agency, by the way.
Yeah.
This can be applied to anything, like the DEA with any sort of new. Wow, if we were able to register all these guns, that's a lot of work for us.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take us forever to do. That's basically forever money.
Yeah.
So it's just, and then again, it's not no federal department is immune from that. That's why the CIA is constantly like, oh, they assassinated JFK because they were going to cut his funding.
Yeah.
Cut their funding, stuff like that. That's a conspiracy theory I definitely do believe in, by the way.
Well,
Lee Harvey Oswald did not hit those shots. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for coming on to the cast.
Oh, no problem, man.
Really appreciate it. This episode will be up in a week. Which, for you listeners, it's up right now. That's how you're listening to it. But yeah, really enjoyed having you on. And any closing remarks that you want to make?
No, not much other than I'm sad my White Sox lost in the playoffs to the Astros. Looking forward to the Bulls now, turning on the basketball season, looking good, and go Tigers every day.